Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I am Miss Ryder for anyone who is new here, and if you're not, then welcome back. Thank you for continuing to support my channel. So, I haven't made a video in a while, and I'll just give a brief explanation so you don't think I just decided to disappear from the internet. But I had a migraine for the past few days, but it is pretty much gone now. So what we are focusing on today is budget-friendly motorbike modifications. This video is for any of those people who have a bike and obviously it could look really good, but there is something missing, you want to make it a bit more you, then this is for you. Some of them might be on the pricier end. I will try and get the prices for you and put them in the video, but they have some pretty good stuff on loads of different sites. Just make sure to check reviews and ratings of everything so that you don't get scammed. So I will go through the modifications I have on my bike first, and then I will go into some modifications that you might want to do to your own bike. So I have aftermarket levers, whatever you call them, because this one was actually a necessity for me, because when I first got my bike, I literally I could reach them, but they were so hard to pull in. It might have been because my clutch cable was going, which that's been replaced now, but either way, it was too far out and I couldn't grab it. So I bought aftermarket levers so I could bring them in a bit, so I could actually, use my levers. What do you call it? Levers or levers? Comment down below. I don't really know how you're going to be able to tell me that. If it's levers, just put one E, but if you say levers, put two E's, because then I can just tell the difference in pronunciation. So I've got aftermarket levers. I also have bar ends on the end of my handlebars because they are just really good to have. If you drop your bike, then it's much less likely that you will bend your handlebars, and it also just protects your fairings a bit, because the fairings don't hit the floor because the bar ends give them that little bit of gap. I also had heated grips, but I had to get rid of them because my bike is too old and it couldn't handle the heated grips, so it kept dying. So I just decided to take them off because they aren't that important to me. I get cold hands even with them on. So another thing I have that came with, they were already on the bike when I got them, was the sliders on the side of my fairings, which I think are possibly one of the best investments. That or the bars, the big bars, but they're very big, which is why I've got sliders. But I do like the idea of having bars just in case. But I dropped my bike. There was no cosmetic damage, no damage at all, because of the sliders, because the bike didn't even touch the floor. So that was pretty great. I think that's it. I haven't had this bike for long, and I'm trying to not buy loads of stuff that I don't need. I bought a paddock stand, a rear paddock stand, and a front stand. I don't know if that's also called a paddock stand, but got the back and the front one from R&G because they always come in handy whenever you need to do anything on your bike, especially your chain. You don't need the front one. I just wanted the front one, but the back one is a very good thing to have because when you're doing your chain, it just makes it a lot easier. But you cannot always do your chain with that one. So if you haven't got one and you don't want to get one, then you don't need one. So we will get into the aesthetic upgrades that you can do to make your bike feel more you. So the first thing that I can think of is vinyl wraps and decals. You can actually buy just rolls of vinyl and do it yourself. This can be really frustrating because it takes a while to learn, but it is much more cost effective than taking it to a place to get it wrapped. There are plenty of YouTube tutorials and people on Instagram that I've seen who show how they do it, and they make it look so easy, but the amount of people who have told me that it's not that easy and it makes you rage. But you got endless customization options because you can do it yourself. I love the trend that people have started doing where they put the big decals on the side of their helmet, or they engrave their visor. I love that, and that is what I am planning on doing. And I think that vinyl decals just give it a big visual impact, especially when you've got a blue bike and you put black on it, or you've got a white bike and you put pink on it, or just really anything that makes the bike just look that more aggressive or more, just makes it pop more. Whatever you're going for, it just gives that that visual impact. So the next thing that I was going to say is LED accent lighting. I personally don't like LEDs, but that is one cost-effective modification that you can add to your bike that can make it feel a bit more you. One thing I will say is to check the laws around having LEDs on your bike, because I'm from the UK and it says that LED underglow on motorcycles isn't inherently illegal but depends heavily on colour and function, with blue and flashing lights often problematic because of police. They must be on a separate switch and not dazzle other road users, and ideally have an ECE mark for main lights, though underfairing lights generally fall under construction and use rules, meaning they're okay if they're not distracting or misleading. So I feel like a deep purple or a deep red LED would be okay, but not a blue. In the UK anyway, because the sirens are blue. But other than that, you can try other colours on underglow. I know that you can't have them on the outside, I'm pretty sure. When everyone does it for Christmas, I know a few people who have had their vehicles seized because it is illegal to have Christmas lights on the outside. So just check the law in wherever you are before you decide to put them on there. So the next thing is grip covers. The domino ones, they look incredible. Actually, I'm just thinking, a grip cover's the ones that look like gloves. Either way, I mean grips, like the domino ones, but there is a few places that you can look at that do sell grips. They make it more comfortable when you're riding if you get new grips that are designed for comfort, or it just changes the feel and the look of your cockpit area, whatever you call it. Because like if I got blue because I got a blue bike, I feel like that would just make it like pop more, and it would just kind of like all of it would harmonize. I feel like I wouldn't get blue because that's a bit too out there for me. I'd maybe get black or white. Even white feels wrong. I feel like black or dark blue probably for my bike. So check eBay, RNG, JNS, any of those places, or any places that are in your area. But make sure to check the reviews, check the ratings, and just check that everything is legal. Because some places might sell stuff that can go on a bike but aren't necessarily legally allowed to be on a bike. So the next one we will talk about, next upgrade, is the performance upgrades. So you can upgrade your air filter, which may give you a noticeable power bump. It's quick install. You can replace the spark plug, which can smooth out idle and improve throttle response, especially on older bikes, which now that I'm saying it, I feel like that is possibly what my bike might need. I mean, my bike's fine, but when it's idling, I'm always a bit concerned. One that's often overlooked in terms of performance is chain cleaning and lubrication. If you do not do this, it can significantly decrease the performance of your bike, and it is easy to do. The products aren't insanely expensive. Like, you don't have to get the branded stuff like Muck Off. A clean, well-maintained chain significantly reduces drag and extends component life. If you don't take care of your chain, you will have to replace it a lot more often, which is a lot more expensive. So it is better to take care of your chain as much as you can so that you don't have to keep replacing it all the time. So next upgrades that you could go for is the safety and ergonomics upgrades. So first one, adjustable levers. Like I said, they improve comfort and control, especially for riders with smaller hands, and are surprisingly affordable. RNG and JNS, to my knowledge, are pretty good brands to go with, but they are also on the pricier end. So if you are on a budget, then have a check on eBay and just check out the reviews and the ratings to make sure that you're not going to get scammed. Another thing you can go for is bar end mirrors. I actually really love these. I don't have them myself, but I actually really love the way that they look. They just make the bike look more sleek, and they offer better visibility than stock mirrors in my opinion, because they are further out. Like, stock mirrors are in line with you and your shoulders sometimes get in the way of actually being able to see out those mirrors. So I feel like bar end mirrors can give you that bit more visibility, and they're just a nice aesthetic upgrade. Another thing you can get is a tire pressure monitoring system. They give you real-time safety, preventing flats and improving fuel efficiency, because you need to be able to check your tyre pressure all of the time. I was told by my mechanic that he had fixed the puncture in my wheel, or he'd replaced it, one of the two, and he had not. And I rode an hour away from my house, and then the tyre went all the way down. This is my 125. I'm not talking about the bike I have now, but this time I had to go to a petrol station, fill the tyre up, and then go straight home, fill it, and on the way home stop and fill it up if it needed to, because my mechanic told me that they'd fixed it and they hadn't, and I ended up having a meltdown on the side of the road because I didn't know what to do. I was on the side of a really busy dual carriageway as well, so I was kind of freaking out that I was going to get hit by a car. So that was really great. So taking care of your tyre pressure and just keeping on top of it, making sure you know what it's at all of the time, is a really good thing to have, especially when you're planning a longer ride in the day. You don't want to have the trouble of going quite far and then your bike getting a flat tire, or your bike already being flat before you leave the house and you haven't checked it, so you don't know, and then you ride quite far away and you can't get your bike back. So a tyre pressure monitoring system, I feel like, is a really good thing to purchase. So some DIY tips I would say is some essential tools for beginners would be a basic toolkit that covers most DIY mods without needing specialized equipment. Because, like, if you are wanting to do your chain yourself, you need the tools to be able to do that. If you are wanting to change your fairings or change your battery, you need tools to be able to take the fairings off and get to the battery. So a basic toolkit can really come in handy. Also, like, maybe a small one that you can take with you on rides. Like, or if it's the basic one, you might be able to get a small one that you can take on rides with you. I have the Oxford one, and it's quite small. It's like literally like this big, and it's got like loads of stuff in it, which is really good if you are going on longer rides or you just want it in case. It's always good to have one on hand if you ever need one. Another good tip is to source your parts wisely, because mechanics can fuck you over quite a lot. I had, with my 125, I took it to a mechanic for a problem that I started having. I can't remember what it was. I think that there was a problem, and I can't remember what the original problem was, but then I took it to the mechanic and it just didn't get fixed. It got worse. I always think that he did something to it, but who knows? I don't know enough about bikes to know if he did do anything to it, but he said he did, and the bike wasn't fixed, and it was never fixed from that point onwards until I sold it. No mechanic was ever able to figure out what was wrong with it. So sourcing your parts wisely is always a good thing to do. Tyres you can buy on your own, and then you can remove the back tyre or the front tyre from your bike and take that to the mechanic, and they can replace the tyre for you, and then it doesn't cost as much because they don't have as much labour to do. All they've got to do is take the old one off and put the new one on. Knowing when to buy new versus used is a really good tip to think about, because not every part on your bike needs to be replaced with a new part. Like, my battery needed a new one. I needed a new battery. If I can't remember what they're fucking called. Your gear selector and your back brake, those two, you can get used ones instead of buying brand new. You can just go on eBay and replace those with used ones. Like, my point is, you need to know when the bike needs something new and when you can just buy something used. Like a chain, you buy a new chain if it needs a chain. I wouldn't buy a used chain because there's no point in that. It won't last you very long. So chain, if you're replacing that, you need a new one. But if you're replacing like the seat or the gear selector lever thing, then you don't need to buy a new one. You can buy a used one off eBay and that'll be fine. You also need to just navigate in online marketplaces. This doesn't even just apply to motorbikes. Some people can be really extortionate on online marketplaces, so you need to be able to haggle really well, and also just know when the person is mugging you off or not. Because like, if they're giving you something and they want an extortionate amount of money for it when you could get it cheaper somewhere else, then I just wouldn't bother getting it from them, because there is no need. So, safety first always. If you have a problem and you have no idea what it is always best to consult a professional. That's not necessarily saying that you have to take it to the mechanic for them to fix it. it could just be to ask them maybe if they know what the problem might be, and then you can maybe do it yourself. But if it's a very intricate thing and you don't know anything about bikes, it might be best to take it to the mechanic and get them to do it. But use service manuals. Like, I bought my own Haynes manual for my bike, so I have everything in there. And yeah, using a service manual is always really good because, well, it tells you pretty much anything. It's like the cheat codes to your bike. So that's a really good thing to have. Also, you need to make sure you get the proper torque on everything. You need to get a torque. I think torque wrenches can be expensive, but if you are doing stuff yourself, you probably will need a torque wrench, because you need to make sure that all of the bolts are torqued properly, otherwise they might come off. But these are all of the budget-friendly modification upgrades that I have for you today. So that is all of the modifications that I have for today. Thank you for coming back and watching another video. I hope to see you again soon. Bye!